Hello and welcome to another episode of Internet Marketing Revealed. My guest today is Ken Furukawa. He's an online marketer and he's involved in many different areas of the industry: affiliate marketing, YouTube marketing, and now even podcast marketing as well. So, we're going to have a chat about all of these different things over the course of this episode, and I'm sure that Ken is going to be able to share a ton of insights and tips and tricks and all of that good stuff that we can use. So, first of all, welcome to the show, Ken.
Thank you, David. I really appreciate being on your podcast, and I'm just excited to be here and to meet all of your followers and your fans.
Yeah, I'm sure this is going to be a great episode because I know that you're quite prolific in different areas of online marketing. So I'm sure you're going to have a load of good stuff that you can share with us today. So I'm really looking forward to this episode personally. But before we get into all of that, could you just give us a bit about your overall backstory? You know, where you're from, what you did before all of this online stuff took over your life.
Yeah. So I was, and hopefully this is not well, it's kind of like a typical story, but or atypical, I should say. I worked in the corporate world for a long, long time, and my last real job, corporate job, was back in 2013. And I left that because just purely out of frustration. I think it's one thing to have ideas and you share those ideas, but you kind of know when people are just giving you the oh yeah, okay, that sounds great, like yeah, we'll think about doing that. And it got to the point where I thought to myself that, you know what, there's got to be something better out there. I can do this. I can bring my dreams or my ideas to reality and really utilize my marketing background to start a business. So I did what most people do. I didn't plan. I left the corporate world and I decided to start a business in the local SEO world. So I had a local SEO consultancy, and that went really well. I was able to network. I was able to use the skills that I learned in my corporate job, which is networking and selling, to get some clients. And that all that stuff was going along really, really well until uh, that's when my wife and we had our first child, our only child. And I was a stay-at-home dad at the time, and working this business. And it's just tough, right? It is when you have a child, your life just totally changes. And it got to the point where it wasn't really feasible to have to be able to have this type of a work environment. I mean, I can't take my kid to an appointment or a meeting at a client's office. So I had to find something different, and that's when I did this really 180 shift, and I went into Amazon FBA. So just by happenstance, I saw a tweet online, and I clicked on the link and went down that rabbit hole, and eventually ended up being an Amazon FBA seller for roughly about 4.5 years. It was really good. I learned a lot. I think in that period of time, I learned probably more in that period of time than I probably would have learned if I've gone to any type of business school. You really, when you have your own business, and especially if you're in e-com and you're shipping, having things shipped, and you have to learn everything about customs, duties, all these kinds of things. It's an educational experience that really you can't get it at college. You have to just actually do it. So yeah, I did enjoy the e-com world, but then again, at some point in time, the relationships with the factories weren't as good, and so eventually I decided to just leave. And so I started to slowly shut down my business, and I went into local marketing, lead gen.
Okay, I mean, when you were doing the FBA side of things, and what products were you selling?
Oh, I was selling kitchen products. So my most success. Oh, first of all, I started off in just in the wireless accessories world, which I think most people like to do, just because at least we're all involved in the electronics. So I started off with that, and then I moved to kitchen and household goods, and I had a soap dispenser. I had this automatic soap dispenser that did really, really well, and I my philosophy was, since at the time there were a lot of people entering into the FBA world, there was a lot of people, and I think even to this day, there's a lot of people going in there. Um, they teach you in these courses to, find a, a a product that's cheap that you can sell. But the problem is that's what everybody does. So I switched my mentality to go after products that were higher per unit cost, at a higher cost per unit, and really that would limit the amount of people that would be willing to spend that kind of money. But prior to that, I already had the experience knowing that this was going to work. So I did my research. I found a company that made these soap dispensers that actually patented their design, and struck up a deal with them. And that really was a really good relationship. But yeah, that product was. I mean, I had so much fun. I applied for a trademark. I did the whole 9 yards. I had my own brand. It was fun. Um, but all good things, or some good things, come to an end, and that's when I decided to make the shift, because just the stress of managing inventory is rough. And with the way the world is now, especially when the lockdowns happened, I think there's a lot of factories shutting down, and that causes a lot of problems. And when your livelihood is based on factories, creating the products and shipping them over, that's kind of a tough pill to swallow. And that's the reason why I switched over to local marketing, because I knew that there were businesses out where I lived that needed help with just the basic marketing, whether it be social media, whether it be running ads. But my specialty was lead gen, and so, or lead generation. And so I spent most of my time creating, landing pages, running ads, and driving traffic to those landing pages and getting leads. And
Did you find that was more agreeable then, to work around your family life than the Amazon side of things?
Yeah, absolutely. Because at this time I knew that I was making more, because I made connections in my first uh, uh, business as an SEO consultant. I already had these connections, so I could pick up the phone and call people. I didn't have to meet with people in person, and because of word of mouth, I was able to land clients. And I think that really helped out. And to be able to run these ads at different times, and really, I could create the landing pages at night. I could do them early in the morning. I could run the ads, start them anytime I wanted to. It was really good. I mean, for me, it was important to spend a lot of time, obviously, with my family, and having a young child growing up and being responsible for taking care of them. For me, it was important to be able to have that flexibility. And I think running these having this local marketing agency really it really fit perfectly with that model for me. But yeah, it was a really good experience. And it's one of those things, right, where you try different things. And I think that's the beauty of it. And I'm not sure, I don't know about you, but if you've gone through that, where I'm sure you've tried different types of things, different strategies, and you eventually try and you do it for a while, and then you decide whether or not it's something that you really enjoy doing. And I think for me, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like what you just said there, where you're looking at the flexibility, and I think that's one of the main reasons that people come into online marketing in whatever side of the industry. It is that flexibility, that time freedom. Of course, the lure of the extra money is important as well, but it is important that you have something that you can work around your real life. Otherwise, you're probably just better off sticking with the day job rather than spending many hours per day working early mornings till late at night, slogging away on something, and not getting the results that you want. So it is important that, as you say there, to try something out and to determine whether or not it's actually going to work and that it's worth pursuing. So how long did you do the local marketing for then?
Yeah, I did the local marketing for about 2 years. And in between that, I was pulled into consulting jobs. So I worked with other marketers to really odd stuff. I would be a coach, where I'd be coaching people, coaching students and help guide them through setting up a membership site. So I walk them through the different processes, and we'd have weekly calls and things like that. Coaching, if any of you are aspiring to be coaches, yeah, I give you all the credit in the world. It is not easy to get people to do things that maybe they're not ready for. And I think that was the big takeaway for me, was just that people you can't force people to do something, that they have to be committed to doing it. They have to basically understand what their why is, or know their why they're doing it. And I think later on we can talk a little bit about just the misconceptions that people have, because when we talk about, you had mentioned that trying things out and deciding whether or not it's something that you want to do that's going to work before you decide to leave your job, right? I left my job. I just left it, and I said, I'm gonna do it. And that was I don't know what I was thinking. But I thought to myself, why not? Well, what's the worst that can happen? I told myself that.
Were you having a really bad time at that job then to come to that decision to just, you know, burn your bridges and just go for it online?
Yeah, it was just based out of frustration. I you know I come from a traditional marketing background, and I had success in a previous role where we were able to stretch out our marketing dollars and get a ton more value, which we could turn around and leverage to get sales. And I come up with this plan that would have costed, was like peanuts compared to what the company I was working for had literally spent on marketing. And I literally put my money where my mouth was. I told my boss, I said, look, if I can't make this plan work, you can fire me, or I'll resign, because that's how committed I was to it. That I knew it was going to work, that I was going to help the people on the field. That was me. I was a guy out in the field, and I wanted to be able to just bring that and spread it across the country, and just model it after a previous project that I did that was highly successful. And to get kind of put on the back burner and say, oh, yeah, this is great, and I presented to directors. I did all these presentations, and I got pushed back everywhere I went. And I'm not going to mention the company, by the way.
Of course.
But I got pushed back, and for me, that was kind of like the writing on the wall, that maybe this is not for me. Because if to me, if you're in a company, you own a corporation. A lot of corporations say that they want to develop their people, because the greatest talent or the greatest resources are the people within the company. You have to nurture that. You have to grow that, and some of the best ideas can come from your own employees. And to not even have a chance to uh, have that, like a pilot program or something, to say, hey, look, we're going to give you this seed money, and we'll let you run with it, and whatever happens, we want to see the results, want to track it, everything. I mean, that to me would have been, I would have been happy with that, just to prove it. But to not even get, not even to get that close, was just disappointing. And I put in a
Yeah.
lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell that it still, still hurts. But I think what you say there, it's a little bit like the coaching thing, but in reverse, because you've got your employer there building you up and encouraging you to develop yourself and to come up with these solutions, but then they're not letting you like finish the job. They're not letting
Yeah.
you see it through. Whereas with coaching, you're doing your best to encourage somebody to, you know, to to do what they employed you as a coach to help them do, but then they still just don't do it, or they don't put in the effort, or they just hold themselves back from seeing it through. So it's kind of similar, but in reverse there. When you were coaching, were you coaching people within the online marketing industry, like the make money online industry, or was it in a different area?
No, it was in the make money online. It was a membership program, setting up membership sites, and there was a lot involved in it. And people knew what they were getting into. You tell them that, obviously this is not what we do, is not a get rich quick scenario. You actually have to work, folks. You have to work, put in the work. And I think over the past, I would say roughly maybe 3 years or more, that's when I started really working on my mindset. Because when you work in a corporate world, it's so different. Whether you show up or you don't show up, you're going to get paid. It doesn't matter. If you hang out at the coffee coffee pot and you shoot the breeze for an hour before you actually get to work, you're still getting paid. Whereas what we do, if you're messing around, you're not going to get paid. Your activity compounds, and that's what leads to you getting paid. And I think just over those past 3 years, I really worked on my mindset to make that shift, to understand that you may not get the result, i.e., being, tons of money. You may not get that result right away, but you do get a result. And I think that's the thing that I really got out of the coaching piece, was that I used to tell people, because they would be like, I'm not making any money. When is this site going to be up? And, I'm like, this takes time. You're not writing any articles. You're not advertising. You're not bringing in people. You have to do that. It's in the beginning. You're going to be pouring your time and your energy and your resources into getting it started up. But once you get it started up and you build the momentum, things happen. But people just don't have that mindset or grit to just slog through it and just go for it. A lot of people ended up leaving or quitting just when they were getting started, or just about ready to get over that hump. And people would say things like, I didn't get anything out of it. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, you got so many things out of this. When you first started, you didn't even know how to write a blog article. Now you know how to do it. When you first started, you didn't even know how to run a Facebook ad, but now you know how to do it. I said, these skills that you have are transferable. And I told this people all the time, is that you're looking to make extra money. I tell you what, the skills that you learn running Facebook ads, go find a friend who has a local business and tell them, I'll run ads for you. I'll get you branding. I'll get your name out there so people come to your store, and you pay me, X amount of dollars, and you can do it for really cheap, but use the skills that you have. I mean, to say that you didn't get anything out of it, that to me, I couldn't understand that. I was like, of course you got something out of it. You got feedback, you got knowledge. Sure, you didn't get the big payday, but that comes with putting in the work, and you didn't put in the work. So that to me, I think the coaching part is probably the biggest takeaway that I got. So anybody that does it, again, I totally admire you for doing it. It's like herding cats, right? So um,
That's a really good description of it. I think with the coaching as well, when somebody hires a coach, I think not for everybody, but I think for some people, then it's like they feel that the responsibility then has been transferred to the coach. It's right, well, I've paid X amount of money now for this coach. This coach is going to get it all done for me, and therefore I'm going to be successful without having to put in any real time, effort, and work in themselves. I mean, that's what I think is possibly one of the more common misconceptions for the online marketing industry, is that if somebody pays somebody money either for coaching or for a how to do, a how to product or something like that, then that automatically means that they're going to become an expert, that they're going to become successful at it. I mean, what would you say are some of the other common misconceptions that we have in this online marketing industry, given your experience there as a coach?
yeah, I think, to add to that hiring the coach piece, is that I think that because they feel they've hired a coach, that success is going to be there immediately. And that can't be further from the truth. The coach is there to guide you. And my coach, Philip Barrowman, and I call Philip my Sherpa. And the reason why he's my Sherpa is that I'm trying to scale this mountain, this peak. I've never done it before. And my Sherpa is the one who's telling me, step here, don't step there. We're going to sleep here. You're going to rest here. And why wouldn't I listen to that and just do what my Sherpa says? Because it's a matter of life or death. If I don't listen to my guide, I'm not going to make it up the mountain. There's going to be a little marker there where they buried me in the snow. But yeah, I think that's the thing where, the misconception is that people think that just because you have a coach that you're going to be immediately successful, and it's not. The coach is there. That's the first step. If you hire a good coach or a great coach, that's the first step. But the big step is really just opening your mind. And I think people have just these preconceived notions, like you had mentioned, that they're gonna just be successful no matter what because they have this coach. But you have to be open and really retool the way that you think in order to be successful. And it's taking me years, and I'm still working on my mindset because it's such an important part of your success in any endeavor that you do. I give it, I call it the 90-10 rule, where 90% of your success is mindset based and 10% of your success is skill set based. Now, with skill set, we all can learn skill set. Anybody can learn anything. It just takes a matter of time. But it's your mindset that either stops you from proceeding when you encounter a hurdle, or it pushes you further because you can see your business a year or 2 years down the road, and you know that by doing what you're doing now that it's going to pay off. And I think a lot of people are stuck in the 10%. They think that, okay, well, now that I know how to build a landing page, that my coach taught me how to do this, I'm going to start making all this money. Well, no, that's not the case. That there are other subtle nuances that people have to understand and really improve upon, because it's a never ending thing. And it's never ending. You're always constantly improving. You're always constantly changing and shifting and moving directions. And it's the typical. I don't know if you saw that graph, that graph where they say that the people, when they see entrepreneurs, they just see this straight line that goes up, and that what it's really like is a squiggly line that goes left, right, up, down, all over the place. But that's what it is. And I think with coaching, I think people think that that's where they're going to go up that straight line. But I think what I've learned and what my coach has taught me is that when you take a step back and you look at the body of work that you've done, whether it be for 6 months or a year, and now I'm going into my second year with my coach. When you take a step back and you look at it from a macro perspective, you can see the improvement. Yeah, if you look at it a very micro perspective, you can see the ups and downs. But when you take a step back and you look at the big picture, that's when you see the steady improvement. Things are going up. Things are going up. Knowledge, experience, confidence, all those things, and that's what a coach can provide you with. But yeah, a coach is not the be all end all. Just because you have a coach doesn't mean that you're going to be successful, because a lot of it has to do with you. And I think that's the biggest misconception, is that just because you have a coach, doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. That your coach, a good coach, is going to help you with your mindset, because this space right here is the biggest space. This the gap that most people have to learn how to overcome, is their mindset.
Yeah, that's a really good explanation, actually. I like that, what you said about the coach there, because the coach is more to signpost you along the way, to make sure that you're doing the right things in the right order and not wasting time doing things that you shouldn't be doing, and not just being there to do everything for you and to give you a level of success in return for the payment that you've made to them. So I think that's a really important distinction, and something that I think a lot of people in this industry have got totally the wrong way around. But you mentioned Philip there, so I think this is probably a good time to talk about at what point then did you meet him and move away from the coaching side of thing yourself?
Yeah, so I tried at this point in time. I've tried different things, and I fell into the Warrior Plus, JVZoo, ClickBank world, and there are good products out there, folks. If you haven't checked out David's product, go ahead and check it out. Um, but there are great products out there, they're just hard to find. So when you find somebody that has a great product, those are the people that you have to be a part of. But yeah, I think what happened was just I fell into that whole uh, thing of thinking that was going to be easy, and I think it caught up to me where to the point where I was buying products and thinking, okay, this product looks great. It looks like it's gonna help me, push button my way to living on a beach, right? And I think that's like the weirdest. Don't you think that's the weirdest thing when you look at some sales pages and you see somebody on the beach with a laptop, and I'm like, why in the world would you want to sit in the on the beach with your laptop open? I, I wouldn't want to expose my computer to all that salt air, and you wouldn't even be able to see anyway. But
No,
anyway, I
exactly. All that sand, the sun glaring off the screen, you'd never
I
get anything
know
done.
that's no fun. You'd be sweating. I mean, who wants to do that? And so I think it got to the point where, for me, at the time I was uh, talking to another marketer. His name is J.K. Dottle, and J.K. was probably one marketer that or the marketer that kind of reinstilled my trust in the whole internet marketing world. And he was promoting a product. He was talking to me about a product. He's like, "Yeah, Ken, I'm working with this guy. He's a former baker." And I'm like, "What? He's a baker, former baker?" He's like, "Yeah, former baker, and he's launching his own course. It's gonna be awesome." So I kept talking to him about it. And then when the product launched, I asked him. I said, "What do you think I should sign up for this?" He's like, "For you?" He goes, "Yeah, you need this." He goes, "You need some structure." And he said, "This is what's going to help you." And so I purchased the product in 2019, and I told myself, I call it my line in the sand moment. I told myself that this is it. This is the last product that I'm going to buy ever, because if I can't commit to executing on this plan and making it work, then I'm never going to be able to do it. And luckily, Philip was the person that really, to me, just he was the person to communicate with. He always answered my questions, and I was just so blown away that I told myself, this is the guy. Like, I need to just follow what he's doing, and just like follow his lead, and wherever it takes me, that's where it takes me. And at the time, he was still building his business, taking action online, and at the time he was also branching out and coming up with different products. And that's when he had some kind of post talking about having a coaching group, and I thought, wow, this would be great. I get to work with him. So I signed up for it, and I was a little hesitant because it had to do with YouTube. And at the time I was blogging. For me, as I mentioned to you earlier, that I was a journalism major. Writing came a little bit easier. I just couldn't imagine myself being on camera. I just couldn't. And I took a chance, and it worked out. And here I am 2 years later, and having a successful business, and it's still growing. I mean, it's something that where I'm building upon that. I mean, it's never ending. But yeah, it was just that kind of that downward spiral that I think a lot of people go through. In the beginning, it's interesting. In the beginning, people think that it's so easy. That's the reason why you see all these products out there that promote push button profits, and you just buy this, and in 2 steps you're going to make money. And they go into it with the best intentions, but you kind of start realizing that, hey, you know what, this doesn't work. Like, they just keep selling this stuff, but I buy it and it doesn't work. And I think I got to that point where I just couldn't sustain that anymore. It was either I'm going to make this work, or it's time to brush up the resume and get back into get back into the rat race again. And luckily, of course, I found Philip, and here I am today, talking to you on your
Yeah.
podcast. Amazing.
Exactly. It's amazing where this online marketing world can take you, can open all of these doors.
It
But
does.
yeah, I totally agree with that as well about going on a downward spiral. I mean, I've been in that position myself where you feel that whatever you're doing isn't working, and you really don't know what you're going to do next, then yeah, you have that decision to make. You either stick to one thing and make it work, or you just have to take a step back from the industry and go back to a day job. And I mean, that's what I had to do several years ago. So I understand completely where
But
you're
here's the
coming
thing,
from
right?
there.
Isn't it interesting because you and I, we're we're normal, we're rational, we're intelligent human beings. But what is it about the internet marketing industry that as soon as you dip your toe in that water or you go into that pond, all of a sudden you just throw all your common sense out the window, and right? I mean, you look at all the people that are successful. They're just highly intelligent people, normal people with good common sense, but for some reason, that just gets thrown out the window when it comes to making money online. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the copywriting, who knows? But it's amazing that we'd all end up being this way.
Yeah, I think is a lot of it is because it's selling you a dream and an alternate lifestyle, so you're not having to do the hellish daily commute, working 8 or 10 hours a day in a job you hate for a boss who you think is an idiot, coming home then exhausted at the end of every day, and then having to spend or try and spend quality time with your family, even though all you want to do is just go to bed because you're so tired. And you do that all week until the weekend comes, you have a couple of days off, and then you got to do it all over again. So I think that's probably why a lot of these products do sell, even if they do sound totally preposterous, because people want to believe it. They want to believe that there is something better out there. If we just go back to where you joined Philip's coaching program, was the YouTube marketing, was that introduced to you straight away? Because you said you were a bit apprehensive about that.
Yeah, it was part of his overall action plan, and I it was something I avoided just because again I didn't want to be on camera. And so what kind of sold me on it was that he said that, hey, you know what, it's gonna be YouTube, but you're not. I'm gonna tell you, you don't have to be on camera. So I was like, oh really? Okay, that's something that I could do. I don't mind, having my voice over slides or whatever. That's totally fine. That'll work for me. And so that's when I decided to take a chance on it. And that channel, I started up. It did well. I made some sales for my affiliate products, and that's when it kind of sunk in that, yeah, I could actually do this. And as I got more comfortable making these videos, I thought to myself, okay, well, part of marketing is you want to create a brand, and the only way people are going to associate you with the brand is you got to show your face. You have to be on camera. And so that's when I decided that, you know what, I'm going to start slowly introducing myself onto these videos. And so I started doing that. And then that's when, after his coaching ended, he had said that he was going to create this other coaching group, which is what I am part of now. And I was ready for it. By then I was ready for it. I knew what I needed to do, and I was comfortable with the whole, being on camera thing. And I think, again, it was just a mindset shift, because when you think about it, when people go to YouTube and they search for, they query something, they're there to get the information. They either get the information, they want to be entertained, maybe both. They don't care what you look like. They don't care what you sound like. They just want the information. And if you give them good information, they're going to follow you, or they're going to leave comments or whatever. And I think for me, that it was getting over that, to really put in my mind that, what, nobody cares. Nobody really cares. And I think as long as I had in my mindset that I'm doing this for the people watching it, not doing it for myself, I'm doing it for them. I think that really made it that much more, to me, something that I could really do, because I felt like my nature is to want to help people. I like to help people, and I thought, okay, well, if I can, I'm doing this to help people. So as long as I approach it to that from that perspective, then I think I'm going to be fine. And true enough. Now I don't even think twice about being on camera. It's not something that I think much about, and I like YouTube just because just the immediacy of it, and the ability to be able to connect with people. It's one thing to connect through writing, but when you can connect through face to face or being on video, I think that can be a lot more powerful too.
Yeah, I mean, is that something then that you prefer about the video marketing side of things compared to blogging? As you said yourself, you come from a journalistic background where your strength is within the written word rather than appearing on camera. But is that something that you find more effective?
Yeah, it is. It is because I get to be myself more, and I don't have to worry too much about grammar when I'm on. When you're writing, you have to watch for your grammar, and I think I can be myself, and I feel that if I can speak face to face, even though I'm speaking, through a piece of glass to someone else, I feel like I have a chance to connect with them and share my personality. And you can describe certain things in a written word, and still the written word is very, very powerful. But the emotion and just having that connection, or being able to forge that connection immediately, I think is what's, to me, the most attractive part about it. And I think most people tend to like to watch videos now. I think people just want that immediacy and not have to sit there and read through a blog post. Um so I think the entertainment factor too is a lot better. And I can, again, I can be quirky, and I have a dry sense of humor sometimes, and I think that for me allows me to bring that out, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. I think the video side of things can really help to highlight certain aspects of your personality, and the more videos that people watch, then the better they get to know you, and they look out for these certain quirks and these jokes that you keep making. Even though you think you've only said them the once, but you end up saying them on every other video, and
Yeah.
all that kind of thing. So yeah, I think it can help to develop a really close relationship between you and your audience there. Now, when you made that switch then from the videos where you didn't appear on camera to the videos where you did appear on camera, was that all on the same YouTube channel, or did you start a new one when you decided that you were going to, show your face?
Yeah, it was a totally different channel. So the first channel I created was on CBD. So, if for those of you guys know what CBD is, it's cannabidiol. It's that extract from the hemp plant. But anyway, I created a channel around that. It was just an informational channel, just to talk about the benefits of CBD. And the channel that I do now is just based purely on marketing, online marketing. And I knew that because I named it Ken Furukawa Marketing, that I had to be on camera in order for it to be effective. So for me, that was easy. And again, I had already had that experience doing it, so the transition was an easy one. In the beginning, it was a little bit different, just because now I didn't have the benefit of slides or graphics or B-roll, and a lot of it was me just speaking. So it was learning a different skill, how to do jump cuts, how to do different types of graphics on your videos. It was a very, very different experience. But I think, just if you watch TV enough, some people, some of us have, you kind of pick up on some of those things that they do on the newscast or on any television show. So you learn those kinds of things and incorporate them into your videos. And so for me, it was incorporating humor, or incorporating some kind of snarky comment or something in it, because that was my personality. And that's what I love about what I do now, is because I can incorporate my personality into it, and it's my channel, and it's my personality. So, as long as I'm providing that information to people that can help them, the way I deliver it is the way I deliver it. And I'm going to attract the people that I attract, and I'm going to repel the people that don't like what I do. And that's okay.
You made that switch from the not appearing on the camera to the appearing on the camera. Are you glad that you did it in that order?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think just even though in the beginning when I was recording videos without showing my face, I was nervous. I don't know why. No one would see my face, but I was really, really nervous. And I think what it did was it was just kind of breaking down my preconceived notions of being on camera. And I think the more I got used to it, the easier the transition became when I was ready to be on camera. And ever since then it's just a lot easier. And I do both now. I do some videos where I don't even show my face at all. And some of the videos I do, more of my value videos, I like to be on camera. But I do product reviews in the IM space, as you know. And those videos I just do them off camera. And people, I think after a while they recognize the voice. I make sure that my thumbnail has a picture of me on it, so they know that it's me. And yeah, absolutely. I think it was really good experience. It's kind of like just learning how to ride a bike, right? You start off with training wheels, and then later on you take the training wheels off, and off you go. And I think that really helped me out. I think that was a good way to break down that barrier in my mind of being afraid to be on camera, or just being afraid of being on YouTube. I think, and the thing that I thought was like, oh, I want to make a YouTube video and everyone's gonna see it. But the thing is that no one in the beginning, no one sees your videos. No one sees any of your videos. And I think that, to me, once I realized that no one's really going to see it, and unless they're looking for that specific topic, they're never ever going to see my videos. So I think that part was another thing too. Was like, well, what are my friends and my family going to think when they see me on YouTube? Like, what are they going to do? I want to be so embarrassed. But I thought, you know what, it's this is my quote unquote job, and this is what I do. And now I'm not hesitant about it at all. And I think that's just the maturation process, right? The part where you're growing and your mindset is shifting, and you're starting to kind of shed those shackles, I should say, of how you're raised, right? And I think I wish I had known this a lot sooner in my life, because things would be a lot different. Uh, Probably would have started a business a long time ago. But it's one of those things that we all go through in order to get to where we want to go, and we all have to go through that process. And that too, right? So you've been through that.
Exactly. I think having that mindset where you don't care what other people are going to think, especially your nearest and dearest family members, friends who, let's face it, have no idea about this industry. They've got no idea what online marketing is, or the concept of making money online. Family members and friends who are not involved in the industry are reading my posts on social media. What they think about it, I don't know. They don't talk to me about it. I don't ask for their opinion on it. So, we just get on with it.
Yeah, and if they're not familiar with it, that's totally fine. And to me, it doesn't matter. And you only have one life to live, so you might as well live it to the best that you can, rather than to live it in fear. And obviously we all have fears, and it's just, I think, the process of going through and facing your fear and then overcoming it. I think that's one of the more, like, the benefits of being online or starting your own business, is that you learn to grow a thick skin. You learn to overcome your obstacles. You learn to be, just, I don't know. It's different. If I were to compare myself now versus when I worked in the corporate world, I'm totally different in terms of just my mentality about where I approach certain things. It's so different. I think when you work, you have a real job, there's that sense of comfort. You may hate the job, you may hate your boss, you may hate all this stuff, but you had comfort in knowing that you have healthcare, you have, you're getting paid, you have all this stuff, got coworkers, you got relationships there. When you're on your own, you're on your own. And I think that's when, to me, you start talking to yourself a lot more, and you start second guessing yourself a lot more. And there's nobody really to rely on, there's nobody to blame, right? And you can blame your bad day on your coworkers or on your boss, But when you have a bad day in our world, folks, when you have a bad day, we can only blame ourselves for that and how we handled it and then what we did to overcome that. I think that's another thing that's important to remember. And this is, even though it's fun, I like it, and it can be exciting, it can be relatively lonely. So even though we're talking on video, or we're on this podcast right now and we're connected via social media, it's still kind of like a lonely journey in this world.
Yeah, it is. I actually quite like that though. I actually quite like working by myself and working in a quiet house during the day and all of that kind of thing. I think I was a hermit. I think in waiting before the internet. The internet took over my life. But yeah, I really actually enjoy that side of things. I know that people don't, but that's actually one of my more favorite parts. But I think just to move on, I know that you're doing a lot with video at the moment, but now you're also venturing into the world of podcasting. Like the videos weren't taking up enough of your time, and
Yeah.
now you're getting into podcasting yourself.
Yeah.
How did that all come about?
Yeah, it was on my channel. I started up a series, a playlist called The Grind. And it was mainly to speak to my audience about just the day-to-day grind of having an online business. And it was just tough. It's really difficult to talk to yourself for even 5 minutes about a topic, and to be able to keep it going and come up with ideas. And I think that lasted, I don't know, it didn't last very long. And the idea came up where my partner, the co-host Gary Baker, who was on your show, Gary kept pestering me. He was like, "Hey, when are we gonna do this? Let's do a podcast. Do you want to do a podcast?" I said, "Yeah, that sounds great." And I thought he would forget about it. I was like, "Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it." And then he every so often he'd pester me. He'd be like, "Hey, when are we gonna do this? When are we gonna record? Let's do this. Like, I really want to do it." I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess we got to do it." And I really enjoy having the banter, like how we are now, because you get to share different perspectives. I'm not trying to ram my perspective about a specific topic down the audience's throat. That we have different varying viewpoints, and yeah, we're going to agree on some things, we're going to agree, and we're not going to agree on others. But I think it really helps to kind of flesh out the topic and give more perspective behind it, because I have very limited perspective, but Gary has perspective as well, and together it makes for a good show. And we just have a lot of fun with it. I think for us it's an outlet to 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 kind of speak about some of the frustrations and some of the things that we encounter with people that either subscribe to our channel or people who comment, send us emails and things like that. We like to talk about those things, and like you, I'll take things from comments, and we'll use that for topic, for content, and we'll talk about that on our podcast. But yeah, it's been fun. It's definitely something where I think we're going to be doing this for a long time. And obviously we want to have you on our show. That'd be
I
a
hope
fun
so.
one too. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one to have. And we're going to start expanding on into interviews as well. But yeah, it's just a way for us to really tell people the truth about affiliate marketing and making money online. That we want people to understand that it's not easy. That you got to have a strategy, and you may switch tactics and strategies over a period of time, but you got to stick with one thing for a while to understand whether or not it's going to work for you. And I think if we can get that message across, and get people to understand that this is not something where you're going to buy a $17 product and all of a sudden 3 weeks later you're going to be cashing in and living on the beach. I think we want to really kind of wake people up to that whole make money online world, because I just feel like people are in this trance when they get in there. I mean, I get to review products now, so it's fun to kind of buy them and go through the funnels and see how many upsells and downsells that I used to go through early on, and how I would buy everything thinking that this is going to be great. Now I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, like wow, there's 15 upsells and 15 downsells. Oh my goodness, it's take like an hour just to get through this selling process. But yeah, I think the podcast is fun. It's just another way to reach another audience, like what you're doing right now, and to just share your knowledge, your perspective, and other people's knowledge and perspective with the rest of the world. And this is so powerful. I think it's a powerful medium, and I'm glad that there are more people like us out there who are trying to share the truth about making money online in the internet marketing world. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it really is. I only wish I'd started doing this a long time ago now. Having recorded a few episodes, I ask myself after each recording now, why didn't you do this a year ago? Why didn't you do this 18 months ago? And I totally agree. I think it is a really powerful medium, and I think it's one that is only going to continue to grow over the next few years. Have you thought about what your long-term plans are for the podcast yet?
No, not really. I mean, obviously, we want to have more guests on. We're even looking into expanding out into things like creating a merchandise store, things, little things like that, because it's just fun. It's fun to dream of these possibilities. We don't know. I mean, maybe Gary said something. I don't know. I just like having that outlet to talk about what's going on in our worlds and to share that with our audience and hopefully touch someone's life. I mean, if we can turn one person's life around and they can, understand what it's going to be really like to start an online business, then our job is done. At least for me, that's how I feel. But yeah, definitely we want to grow the podcast, have more guests. We're already talking about, when there's some kind of big live marketing event, we want to go there and try and interview people, those kinds of things. We're already talking about those, adding in those little wrinkles. But yeah, uh, definitely we want to expand it. How far it goes, who knows? I'm only looking at it probably maybe about a year ahead of time. I'm not looking at it 5 years ahead, but I'm sure Gary's thinking we're going to be on TV or something.
That would be a show worth watching, actually. That would be really good. Yeah, I think that's probably a good place to start wrapping things up there. What would you say your plans are then for the next 12 months or so? Not just necessarily with the podcast, but with your whole like online marketing journey overall.
Yeah, it's definitely growing, continue to grow my channel and really start expanding on the content. But also, what I really want to do is uh, kind of branch out and find other areas of revenue. So, my main business is my YouTube channel and the business that I have right now. And I think it's important to understand that in the past, I would just go do three or four things all at once without having stuck with just one at one time. So we built this YouTube channel, and I feel I haven't mastered everything, so to speak, but I've got a good grasp, a good understanding of what I need to do. And I think that's the most important thing to understand is sticking with one thing and doing it for at least 6 to 12 months and not being distracted by other things. And then from there, once you start realizing and start understanding what your goal is for that one particular strategy or business that you're doing, then it's okay to start exploring other areas. So I think that's the goal, is starting to eventually branch out. So the podcast is one branch, and then who knows what's going to come up. I think right now there's so many possibilities. Sometimes you just fall in your lap, right? So I think right now it's a channel, growing that channel, helping as many people as I can. I like to tell people that I put on my chainmail and I go into that piranha infested pond and I try and pull out as many people as I can and rescue them from just being ravaged by piranhas in the internet marketing world. So I try to I do that, but eventually I want to expand that out and really dive deeper more into the value side of it and get people to just start seeing the bigger picture rather than just seeing just a small piece of it, which is, I get to make money, right? They don't see that whole big picture. And I really want to expand upon that and kind of take my subscribers on that journey as well. So yeah, those are pretty much the plans that I have.
Okay, that sounds really good. Lots of opportunities, exciting times ahead as well. Now, if anybody listening needs rescuing, where's the best place for them to find you?
Well, they can go to my YouTube channel. That would be Ken Furukawa Marketing, or you can go to to my Facebook page. Just look for Ken Furukawa Marketing. Again, I'll be there, or go to kenfurukawa.com. So I offer up a 12-step action plan, and it's a 12-step action plan for affiliate marketers. It is excellent. It is free, and you're really going to learn just what it takes to build a business, and it's going to help you build that foundation that you need in order to build a business. And I think a lot of people would benefit from it by checking it out. So yeah, if you guys need help, then go to take advantage of that 12-step action plan for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody listening now can feel the piranhas nipping at their toes, then I'll put the links to all of Ken's resources in the show notes as well, so you'll be able to get access to those, including the freebie that he's offering up as well. Okay, well, I think we'll end things there. That seems a good place to wrap things up. Thank you so much, Ken, for coming on to the podcast today. I knew it would be a good episode, and it was one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on here as well, because I knew you'd have a lot to talk about in terms of the YouTube side of things and also the podcast side of things. I know we didn't really talk too much about the podcast, but maybe there'll be an opportunity to do that again sometime in the future as well. And I also look forward to appearing on the Affiliate Files with yourself and Gary. So please invite me onto that
Yeah,
as soon as
definitely,
possible.
definitely.
Okay. Thank you once again for joining us today, and no doubt I'll catch up with you very, very soon.
All right, thanks, David.
Please visit internetmarketingreveal.com and davidwalker.net for more free content. If you need a domain name for your business, visit domainsreveal.com, where you'll find more than 1,000 premium domains. And finally, please rate and review this podcast. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.